Hi, my name is Ravi Kiran, and this is how I learned to create games. Most of my childhood happened in Vijayawada itself, and that is where also my gaming started to game and all. The cassette wala games is what my parents bought as a gift for me, and then I liked it very much. I also bought several versions of it. One was like a Pokemon theme, the other one was like different keyboard and all. So my earliest memories during childhood there are two. One is with the Super Mario, and Mario had this evolution where he became from small Mario to big Mario, and from that to a red colored Mario. And I understood the first transition because like the big Mario is stronger and he can break bricks, and he's bigger and faster. But I did not understand what is the use of the second evolution. Why did he become like red color? that was some that was something I did was confused until my big brother came, showed me that there is actually another button on joystick, and if I press that, that red Mario is going to leave out fireballs. And I was very fascinated. Okay, I should probably press all the keys and see what this game does. And that was like me knowing, okay, it's not just these buttons that work, but there is some other button. We should try that also. My second memory was with a football game. I don't remember the name, but I was very good at it. I enjoyed it a lot. For some reason, one day, once I was back from the school and I tried to put it on, it was just not happening. Even at a low level enemy, there are one, two, three, four, five levels. So even at level two or level three, I was just unable to win. I was unable to kick the ball. I was unable to pass or any such thing was not happening. I got very, very frustrated. I used to like, I just pressed my joystick harder. I felt like breaking the joystick. I was frustrated and all. And then finally, again, I was able to get back my skill and play the game properly. What I realized was like in the game when we press the button, the player and the ball attach, and when you release the button, the player kicks the ball away. I did not realize that. I thought it was just a single click. So what I was doing is that in racing games we just press the button so hard to move. I was doing the same thing. I thought if you press hard, somehow psychologically like the ball will go further or it will go with greater force, which is not how those games work. And that the mistake I was making was I was pressing it for a longer amount of time, for a longer duration, and the game only takes the release button as the kick input. So it's only kicked once I released. By the time the opponent comes and takes the ball, and I was frustrated. But it taught me like a very good lesson that is also still useful in the game development point of view. Is that we can press a button, but that's not a single, like it's not a single thing that happens, not a unit thing that happens. Even like a button press has different or three different components to it. That is the button down, the holding the button, and then the release of the button. And these things have stayed with me until now, I can say, because they were like kind of like earlier practical lessons in game development, whether intended or not. And as I grew up, I played more like complex games. One of the most complex ones I played was Warrior Within, the Prince of Persia Warrior Within. Absolutely mental game that was. I was not able to progress at all. The puzzles were like completely bizarre. I had no idea. So my gaming was like monitor on one side, phone on the other side. Game in the monitor, and in the phone the walkthrough with pictures and text. Like go here, turn this lever to the exactly at this angle, do that, and somehow I finished it off. That is how I played Warrior Within. These are the most significant memories that come to my mind when I think of gaming and childhood. After I finished my 12th in Vijayawada, I got a seat in BITS Hyderabad, and I came to Hyderabad. I started my degree as a mechanic. I started my mechanical engineering over there. So I have a degree in mechanical engineering. And around first year or so, I came across the C++. Although I was previously trained, I found it very interesting. I slowly delved into coding and all. Coding is something I found quite fascinating because the results are very easy. Like I write a code, the result is right away. So I was able to like attach to the coding very much. And as I started learning coding, one thing that I did was like for everything that I learned, I was able to somehow transform it into a game, even if it's text based. So it's kind of like my mind decided to be a game developer before I formally decided in the outside. Because even in the college, I never had this game development or any such thing. But I would still make the small games like okay, move the mouse, click to attack, and then score and all. There was something that happened. After that, I got placed as an Android developer. I worked for a while, but then I quit because I did not like and I did not want to continue that way in the future. And I decided, okay, it is better to quit early and change it when I am young, change the career path when I'm young, rather than wait for a long time and then change somehow. That was also the time COVID happened, and all the job market and all was not good around that time. So I decided to make a small game, just a snake prototype. only for my satisfaction and nothing more than that. And then I made it. It was good and all. I made like small other prototypes, and then I decided let us go a bit higher. Let us make a full-fledged game and release on Steam and see what it does. It's not a it is it's not like a very ambitious thing. I have to make profits or something. It's like, no, see where it goes. Maybe I'll take 3 to 4 months, and then I'll start applying for that 3 to 4 months. I made a chunk of game. I fell in love with my own game so much that I wanted to finish it, and then it slowly became 6 months, and then it slowly became 1 year, and then I was like, okay, this is not happening. I have to use a formal game engine to do this, and then I was like, took another year to completely remake that game in another game engine. Give like proper art, proper graphics, proper animation, not much in terms of graphics, proper animations and everything, and then setting up the Steam page and all. After that, I finally released a game. It's like a very amateurish noob game, but I like it very much. And then I was like, okay, I made a good game, but what if I was formally trained in terms of game development? And that is when I found Outscal, and I spent another year training myself properly, like everything, like including the basics of C++. Even though I still spent more time exploring each and everything. Then Unity, and then with data structures and also like more design patterns and all, going into depths, implementing them in every way possible, finding out what all doubts that I have, getting them clarified, and then finally I got a job. And I'm very happy for that. After I made the snake game, I made like this very small prototype of a maze moving. So you are like a black color circle, and there are black blocks which are supposed to be like, you don't go through them; they're just walls. And I think it is kind. I got the idea from Maze Runner or something. So it happens like you move, and then the maze moves. So like the maze always keeps changing, and then you have to somehow find the exit. And from there, I made the game in this sort of graphics engine called as processing, and it has these functions for if you want to display image, or if you want to display a rectangle or a triangle or any other shape. And that is what it helps us. It doesn't have any extra features like animation or art support. That is something that I had to write. um, when making this maze runner kind of game, I wrote some basic framework for like starting, pausing, and all that stuff. For collisions and all of these things, I wrote, and not animating, but collisions and physics, I wrote some rudimentary framework to happen. I decided to use it and make an like a small bigger, like a small big game type of thing. So it is, there is a player. I made a small artwork. He can move around, and then I made the walls. He can hit the walls, and then initially I was just adding random things like, okay, there is a health meter for some reason, then there is some sleep meter, then there are some other 5 6 meters, complete nonsense. And then I added a timer, like, okay, some tasks have to be done in time. And then I added the money system and all. And then it was like 4 cities where you go from one to other, solving some very small puzzles, like you open the lever, or like you pull the lever, you open a door. You pull the lever, two doors open, sometimes they flip and all, these kind of things. There is a train, there is a trucks and all. It is like completely one bit art, which means it's purely black and white. Like imagine pixel art, and now imagine pixel art is just purely black and white. It's like in the calculator, you can think of it as calculator. So that sort of oscillate happened. And after a year, like I was just developing the puzzles, and then I realized all these meters are useless. The money system is useless. The time system is useless because I do not have an end game state, like a game over state. That is, player cannot die ever. Like he just has to solve puzzle and go there. Like how will the player die if it is just a puzzle game? And I did not want to add that. So when I ported it, or not ported, but when I was remaking it in a new game engine, uh, I removed all these features and added the most basic ones. Like, okay, he moves, he collides. This is how he gets a task. This is how he finishes, and this is how he rides a vehicle. There is also a tank at the end of the game, and he goes and throws the missile. Very only basic, whatever are necessary. And then I finished the game, and after that I released it. All. This is how the thought process went. There is a lot more chaos in the beginning. It slowly became ordered at the end. It is pretty good actually, not even okay. It was a very good process, very supportive people around me, friends and family, all of them. So I got a job as an Android developer straight from the college. It was a campus placement, so that one was cool. I was like okay with that pay. Everyone was okay. They were like, okay, that's a good package, you can continue. They were like, okay, why did you leave the job when you left it? But then I had my proper reasoning. I was like, it is better to leave right now than to work for 5 years and then change the career. Like, what do you think is better, like changing it now and getting a new job and going forward, or waiting for 5 more years and doing that? And that was a convincing argument from my side. So they were like okay with that, and friends were very supportive. They were like sending me referrals of any new companies that they know of and everything. I remember my friend he used to tag me in Facebook whenever there was a post. I used to get that notification almost every day. That was good. Yeah. And then like I was like, okay, I will take this amount of time to make and release the game. It became that 1 year became 2 years, and parents were still supportive. And then I was like, okay, this is something I want to take seriously. um, what if I get a formal training that will improve my chances of either getting a job or maybe making a game if I want to in future. Like what I took 2 years to make, maybe I could take 6 months with a proper training, and even that sounded like a correct thing to me. And even they thought of that, so that was how I joined Outscal, and yeah, everything happened. I think I was going through LinkedIn one day. In my mind, I was actually searching for, okay, what are all the things that I want to like write proper code. I want to like write industry standard, maybe not industry standard, but I want to write code that makes it easier for me. Because at that point, there was a small game jam and I participated in that, but I did not finish it because once I started making a game, there were like few complicated things I did not know how to solve, like small parts. It could be as simple as moving the camera around the player but then following something else. And there were workarounds that I could do, but they were getting complex when we had many features. So I in my mind was like, there are games that do that, and they cannot have such complex and very mind bothering solutions. They must be having some simple things. And that was when I remembered learning about design patterns and all, and how like even though initially they might seem complicated, like singleton patterns, like okay, why are we doing all this? But once we implement that, a lot of other features become very simple to add, like a service classes and all. So I was looking through a lot of different things. I found, okay, so I have to learn Unity. That is one thing. So I saw different people who offered different courses and all, and I think it was a post on LinkedIn, not a post, or maybe it was a tag or it was a picture. I do not remember exactly. Uh, I was following this person called as Nikhil Malankar, who was making Mumbai Gullies and all, and he posted about Mayank, I guess. And I do not know if he mentioned Outscal or not, but he posted something about Mayank, or maybe it was a picture of them both together, from which I followed Mayank, and then I got to know about Outscal. And then I did a little bit of research, all the comparison and everything, and then I decided to join. Journey in Outscal was pretty smooth with a little bit of obstacles. The initial module, the C++ fundamentals of coding, were went on smoothly. I finished them all. Unity was a bit more, I wouldn't say challenging, but a bit more new, because I never used the features like Git or like the VS Code and all those things. Getting to understand them, understanding how the like that Visual Studio and Unity work together. These were like a bit complex that took some time for me to get, and that's also like Unity also got a bit late for me. I did it for I think around 2.5 months or 3 months, the fundamentals of Unity, but I went very deep into it. I wanted to understand each and everything. I wanted to understand, okay, why one sort of collision body collides with other sort of one, and how do we like not collide? Why does like the kinematic thing collide with this? Like I wanted to understand everything, and I did that. Even at the end, like I, for my satisfaction of self, at the end of Unity fundamentals module, I made another like a small mini game with 5 levels. It was not asked for. It was not for mat or like any assessment or tests from outside. It is just for my own satisfaction to know, okay, I have mastered these concepts. Yeah, and obviously there is mat 1 and mat 2, which are the tests that happen at the end of every module. For that, I made different games that are related to that. And next was the data structures one, which is, in my opinion, the most important part of the entire program. Uh, I finished it very fast. I think I took around 1.5 months or two. Relative to my speed, it is very fast, and it is the one of the most important things, not just for game development, for any field. There, it is very important. And I was not much aware of those concepts, so I was very interested to learn those. Like I know what an array is. I know what a list and linked list, the how it works. Deep into them, solving the problems are on another level, right? That is where it was very, it is the best thing for me, because I think I have learned the most from that. And after that is the Unity advanced concept, where they teach more of a design patterns type, both singleton and observer pattern, and how to use events and all. That was also very good. I had a little bit of knowledge in how to use design patterns, so it also went quite smoothly for me. But even this, I still took my time. I think I might have taken 2 months around, or more than that, to finish. And I learned all of it. I finished, and then Okay, the most fascinating part is I actually did not finish the Unity Advanced because I got a job offer before that itself. I have to There is one last thing to do, which is the interview, the mock interview. I'm like, okay, I have to study the notes and then I have to book the interview. But I haven't yet gotten time to do that. I was busy with this job. So, I hopefully finish Unity Advanced. After I finish the Unity Fundamentals module, there are Mat 1 and Mat 2. So during the module, we make a game that is a normal platform. It's a game that we make as we learn through the lectures. In Mat 1 and Mat 2, we have to make two games on our own, and I made them and I submitted. For my own satisfaction, I actually made another fourth game. It is not required by Outscal or it is not a rule to make, but I wanted to do that by my own, and it's called a fireball game. It's a story of a fireball that goes around place here and there. It's 5 level small game, and this game actually has a story behind it. There is a game called It Takes Two. If you remember, it's a cooperative game played by two players, and I was playing that with my friend. And there was one level where we got stuck. It was the abacus level. It is nothing but there are jumping pads, and you have to jump in a series to reach the goal at the top. My friend was not able to do that, and I was saying, like, I realized from a point of view, that from a game dev point of view, because I was already in training at that time, that it is not fault with you or your skill. In fact, the problem is with that camera over there, that whenever you jump on a jumping pad, because it is too fast and the camera follows it, it just does this wiggle type motion, and it completely distorts your point of view and your reference and all. Instead, what they should have done is, like, they fix the camera on the side and then let you jump as if you're playing a side camera platformer. And they did the same thing in several other puzzles, but this one they did not do. So I decided to, like, just to prove to my friend, like, hey, it's not a skill issue, it's like game design issue. I decided to make the exact same level, but in 2D and from, like, the side camera point of view. So here, like, the player, which is the fireball, moves like this and goes away. And this one my friend was able to easily play through, and I was like, ha, did you see, it's not the problem with you or your skill, it's with the game. And I was very happy when I made that, because I implemented almost all the concepts that I learned in that module. Not only in that module, but I also had previously knowledge of. So that is how it worked, and it worked out fine, and I was very happy when that happened, and that made me very, very confident with regards to my choice of choosing the career and also choosing Outscal, more important. The placement happened actually before I entered the placement phase of the Outscal. So even I was doing the last assignment of the last module, and during that time I received a message on LinkedIn asking me, hey, there is so and so job, can you please send your resume? And in my mind I was like, okay, I did not finish the course, right? Maybe I'm not ready, I will wait and I will do it. But again, that HR person sent it again, so I was like, okay, fine, this is my resume. And then, like, they slowly fixed the technical round. Initially I was not serious towards it, because I was like, okay, my first goal is to finish this course, not to, like, get a job. After this course I can get the job. There is a resume preparation, there is a portfolio doing, all of those things. Excuse me. So initially I agreed in a way of, okay, maybe it will help me assess my own skills. And I continue. There was, like, a small technical round where I gave the interview. After that, there is a small project, the same thing that happened when I was at IGDC and doing the mat 2. I was like, okay, it'll be a practice to me, there is nothing wrong. I did it. And finally they decided to give me the job, which was unexpected to me. And I was very shocked, and I was in a very confused mode of, what should I do right now, because this is unexpected. So then I contacted Malhar from Outscal, who I was told was in charge of the placements and all, and I explained to him every situation. And then he went through, like, the screenshots of their mails, the CDs. He went through, like, their thing, and to decide, like, how for me, like, how to move on. And I followed him. We both decided together, and, like, I was like, I accepted the offer. I read, like, all the things that are important and all. He also read through them, and then we decided, and that's how it started my job. I'm currently working in Bangalore in a company called as Zitro. It is an international company, and it just started its office in India. And my designation is a game programmer, so I develop the games over there. Currently, I'm just starting, so I am in more in, like, a learning phase. I'm doing, like, small tutorials to learn and all. And this training phase will go on, I guess, for, like, another month or so. Until then, I will not be getting to work on hands-on on any project. So I haven't done, or, like, I am currently not working on a project, but it's just learning. If I were to give an advice to someone who is very passionate about game development and want to pursue it, my only thing would be go for it, because it is one of the best things. It is actually the best decision you can take in your life. Around a decade or so ago, game development is seen as a risky thing and all, because at that time the industry was different, market was different, the jobs and the security of it were different, job security was different. That perception, all of that changed as we progressed into like the current era, but that perception kind of still stays and they considered risky. It in reality it is actually not. It is the furthest from the truth. It is a very it is a very, it is high paying, it is pretty stable, and you will actually have a lot of growth over here. In fact, a lot of companies from internationally want to set up their offices in India, which is how I also got my job. So like there is a lot of potential for growth in game development, especially in India. And yeah, like people who think it's not safe or something, it's like that might be true a couple of decades ago, but it's no longer true. So previously I was doing good at my Android developer job, decent enough salary to like for a beginner of that stage and all. And when I came to like changing fields, one of the thoughts would be like, okay, how much would I make here? Initially I was very adamant, like if I were to get a job, I have to get higher than that, because I'm investing a lot of time, it wouldn't really make sense. But then slowly kind of like that uh, it kind of slowly frizzled down, and I was like, okay, it is fine even if I get the same or less. It, since it's a new journey and I'm a beginner, it's okay. But once I got the job offer, it was like almost double of it, and I was shocked, including like the HR middle person or the middleman who arranged the contact between me and the company. Even they were shocked, like, okay, for a beginner this much is it's just impossible. You have done a great job. And even when I asked my friend, they were like, bro, you should just take the job silently, don't think of anything else. And that was the same thing even said by Malhar at Outscal. So I am actually very happy, because maybe if I stayed in that old field, maybe I might be earning more than this. But I want to be a game developer, right? So for me, this is a good trade, and I'm very happy.